everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Helen and today I've decided to do my video outside in my garden because it's such a lovely day. I don't normally have a Monday off, but I needed to go and have my foot looked at today by a podiatrist. It turns out I have been walking around with a fracture in my foot for the last 2 years and didn't realise it. I was told that I had osteoarthritis in my big toe, and so I've been hobbling around thinking just put up with the pain because it comes to everybody eventually, and actually turns out there's like a little fracture that nobody has spotted until today. So I've got to go for a referral to a consultant and see if there's actually anything they can do with it. It's not repaired itself over this time, so they are going to need to intervene, but it's in an awkward place. So yeah, that's been fun today, but at least now I can spend the afternoon in the garden before I go and pick Sophie up from school. This video is to talk about the India Codes readathon that I'm going to be taking part in July. This is basically my TBR for that. I haven't got all the prompts from the bingo board written down, and I'm not going back inside the house to do it because I've got an indoor cat, and although in this kind of weather when I come out here I do tend to let her have a little mooch around the garden, while I'm filming this I can't make sure that she doesn't like jump over the fence or run out the gate and never come back. So I'm not battling with her to keep her inside by going in and getting paper and writing all the prompts down, but I will put the bingo board up here. Excuse the aeroplane, I don't know how loud that will be for you. But here I've got a mixture of indie books that I've found in the library and that I've got on my shelves. I'm open to suggestions, so if you can think of ones. I'm looking more for like contemporary romance, any non-fiction really that I might find of interest, particularly travel non-fiction or mind body spirit type books, but if you've got any, please recommend them. I am joining the Independent Kitties, that's what it's called. The Readathon is hosted by Lana from Lauren Lullabies, and I am on the Independent Kitties team. The hosts for that one are Mel from A Book For You Named Mel and Ellie from Earl Grey Books. There really was no other team I could go on because they're like my two best YouTube friends. I took part in the India Codes Readathon last year and really enjoyed it, so I thought why not. So I'm going to start with the books that I've got on my shelf already. The first one is 9 Months in Tibet by Rupert Wolfe Murray. It is published by Scotland Street Press, and when I've looked this up it does appear to be an indie publishers. If any of these that I put up you think that they're not, please let me know, but from what I could tell this was. It's basically about a man who travels there, so how I overcame my fear of travelling alone and hitchhiked to the roof of the world. So he obviously spends 9 months there. I love travel non-fiction. I read majority travel non-fiction for my own readathon, which is your Readathon, but obviously Tibet wouldn't have fell into that, so this will be a perfect time to read it. It is quite a chunky book. The writing is quite small. It's got 370 odd pages, so we'll see. The next one that I have is Carnelian Fox by Kay McLeod. I was lucky enough to win this from Kaz at Cats and Camera. It's her sister's book, so I know it's definitely independently published because that was the point of the competition, was to win one of her sister's back catalogue of books, and so I chose this one. It is a fantasy book. I just love the cover, and yeah, I wanted to read this for a bit, so this is the perfect opportunity to do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it and letting Kaz know what I think. And the final one that belongs personally to me, I think, is Conquering the Dragon by Kim Go. Basically this is a fellow who is now, I think he's a Methodist minister, but he was involved in, let me read it, let me get it right, like a lot of giant gangs, and yeah, obviously turned his life around in prison, and because when I worked in Sefton, I used to have to go out to different community settings, and the church was one of the places I went to, and he was there. I thought he told us about his background, and I thought it sounded quite like interesting to see how he turned his life around, so it's something that I definitely want to give a go. I just think it's going to be quite hard hitting to read, but it's only it's only 150 pages, and I do know that one of the prompts for the readathon is read something under 300 pages, or is it under 200? I can't remember. Or is the other prompt read something that's got under 200 reviews? So yeah, I would imagine that maybe some of these have got under 200 reviews, so hopefully I can add my review to that. So yeah, that one's next. And the rest are all from the library. I just went through the shelves and saw what I could find. So I have got The Case of the Screaming Beauty by Alison Golden. It's like a series, like a, I'd say, cozy mystery series, an Inspector David Graham mystery. Let me see where it says it's published by Mesa Verde Publishing. So like I said, I did look it up at the time, so I'm hoping that is still the case. But it says The Case of the Screaming Beauty. It said a charming bed and breakfast, a diabolical murder, a guest with a secret to hide. So definitely a cozy thriller mystery type book. So yeah, that should be good to do. It's only, let's see, 100, or like I said, 127 pages. And you know what, if I like it and I can find some of the others of these in the library, then I might order them, and that will be quite a few that I can get through, because that's not going to take long at all. So there's that one. Also, one of the prompts, I definitely always choose one by the cover, and I just love that cover. It's in a garden, somebody looks like they're going to have an afternoon tea, and I'm all there for that, so perfect. The next one will definitely not be a cover by, but it says The Children's Bark by Helen Garner, and this one is published by the Text Publishing Company. It says Athena and Dexter live a happy but insular life, bound by routine and the care of their young sons. When Elizabeth, an old friend from Dexter's university days, turns up with her much younger sister Vicky and her lover Philip, she brings an enticing world to their doorstep, and Athena finds herself straining at the confines of her life. Helen Garner portrays her character with a clear eye for their dreams, their insecurities, and their deep humanity in this intimate and engaging short novel. And again, yeah, this 160 pages, so I'm thinking I can get through quite a lot of these quite quickly, and that's a good way, I think, to decide if, like, especially with like a series one, if you didn't get along with it, it won't matter so much because it's only short and then you wouldn't have to read anymore. Again, with this, I think you're more tempted to finish them off because of the size that they are, even if you're not really enjoying them that much. So yeah, there's another one. The next one is The Hidden Legacy by Julie Roberts. This one doesn't actually have a publisher on it, or does it? Or Accent Press. It says, a painting, a thief, a debt repaid, a female artist in a man's world, Meredith Sanders is making her own way in life, but when she receives a legacy from her deceased guardian, she finds herself drawn into this criminal past and into danger. At first, businessman Adam Fox suspects Meredith of involvement in an art fraud relating to a missing Turner painting. Despite her fear of betrayal, she sees he is the only man she can turn to and trust. Together they try to find the painting and return it to the Royal Academy before the opening of the summer exhibition, leading Meredith into even deeper trouble. And whatever her feelings for Adam, Meredith cannot reveal the secrets of her own humble past. So yeah, a bit of a historical, possibly romance there, I think. So yeah, let's give that one a go. The next one is Black Plumes by Marjorie Allingham. Let's see, this is by Agora Books. It says, that's what the cover looks like. The slashing of a valuable, another painting one. The slashing of a valuable painting at the renowned Ivory Gallery in London, followed by the murder of the proprietor's son-in-law, sets the stage for another finely tuned Allingham mystery. The proprietor's mother, 90-year-old Gabrielle Ivory, holds the key to the web of intrigue and danger that permeates the gallery. Gabrielle Ivory was once a society beauty, but now she's largely disregarded by the younger members of the Ivory clan. That's a mistake, and it's not their only one. A series of malicious attacks is threatening the Ivory Gallery. The family, frantic to preserve the status quo, want to chalk it all up to practical jokes gone wrong, but Gabrielle is not inclined to collude in this decision. So yeah, another bit of a mystery one as well. Then we've got one by called Deep Digger Dan by Jason Tipple. You don't see many books about people who do metal detecting. But it says the simple life does still exist in the 21st century. Join deep digger Dan on the adventure of his life. Our reluctant hero is a lonely, unlucky in love, unemployed, and living in a static motorhome on the beautiful coast of Yorkshire. All he wants is to be left alone to work, drink beer, smoke a few cigarettes, and enjoy the world's most misunderstood hobby, metal detecting. But everything changes when he's asked to track down a stolen hoard of diamonds from a famous London jewellery heist that happened 50 years ago. And so begins a wild adventure that spans the length and breadth of a small part of Yorkshire. So yeah, that sounds quite interesting. This one is more pages. This is 285. I can't remember who it is published by. Actually, it doesn't say, but I remember looking it up, and he is an indie author, so yeah, I'm going with it. The next one, did I do an Elaine Roberts one? Yeah. Oh no, that was Julie Roberts. This one's Elaine Roberts. Another one that looks like a historical one. Oh, the Lyceum Theatres in the background there. The West End Girls. In 1914, growing up on a farm in the country, Annie Cradwell has always dreamt of singing on stage. So when she hears her friend Dries has a room to spare in London, she sets off with best friend Rose for an adventure beyond anything they could have imagined. In London, Annie and Rose stumble into jobs at the Lyceum Theatre. Being addressed as a capricious star, Kitty Smythe wasn't exactly what Annie had in mind, but then the musical director Matthew Harris offers her singing lessons, and Annie starts to wonder, could this be her chance, or is it all too good to be true? With the threat of war in the air, everything is uncertain. Is there a place for hopes and dreams when so much is at stake? And this one's published by Aria Fiction. So there's another one. This one is 390 odd pages. Now we've got a really tiny book. This one's called This Is Pleasure by Mary Gateskill. Pretty sure this one's been translated, and I'm sure the publisher does a lot of translated fiction from what I remember reading. Published by Serpent's Tail, which is an imprint of Profile Books, but I don't think that's a big publisher. It says Quinn and Margot have been friends for more than 20 years. Quinn is an extrovert and a sensualist who thrives on flirtation and ambiguity. He is at his happiest when encouraging intimate confidences from the women he meets. Always clear with him about the boundaries of their own relationship, until now Margot has looked on his behaviour with a mixture of ambivalence and affection. But when Quinn's actions are held up against a new light and his life begins to unravel, Margot tries to work towards a deeper understanding of her friend, the damages he might have caused, and the loyalty he deserves. This Is Pleasure is a masterpiece of fiction that looks unflinchingly at the difficult and necessary debates of our present moment. It rejects moral certainty while honouring the ambiguity and vulnerability at the heart of all human relationships. So that one is only 84 pages, so yeah, I'm definitely going to give that one a go anyway. Then we have West by Caris Davis, and this one is by Granta Fiction and Granta Publishing, and this is definitely a indie publishers. I think it's Australian from what I remember reading, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember now. Anyway, it's 150 pages, another short one. It says, let's look at the front. When Cy Bellman, an American settler and widowed father, reads in the newspaper that huge ancient bones have been discovered in a Kentucky swamp, he is filled with a sense of burning purpose. He leaves his small Pennsylvania farm and young daughter to find out if the rumours are true, that the giant monsters are still alive and roam the uncharted territory beyond the Mississippi River. West is the story of Bellman's journey into sublime wilderness, and of Bess, unprotected and approaching womanhood, waiting at home for her father to return. Heralding the arrival of an exceptionally talented and original British novelist, it is a radiant and timeless epic in miniature which reaches an unforgettable crescendo. So yeah, there's another one by Granta Publishing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 there, and they're quite short, so I think I can get through most of those. I think most of them cover quite a few of the prompts. Like I said, under 300 pages. Books under 200 reviews. I'm sure some of them will be there. Choose one based on the cover. The one that I'm not sure about is read something in another format. So obviously they're all paperbacks. I haven't got anything in audiobook or ebook yet, so if you've got any good suggestions of ones that are reasonably cheap that I wouldn't have to go to lots of expense for, then please let me know. Oh, I forgot to show you my t-shirt when we were away. I don't know if I did a video since, but my mum picked out a t-shirt that said "Go Away, I'm Reading" at a place called the Book Lounge in Kirby Longensdale when we went away for a week to a cottage with my family, and yeah, I love it. I wear it all the time. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. The other book that I'm reading in July, I'm aware this isn't an indie book. I was speaking to Sam from Goodreads. I was texting her the other day, and I was reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I knew she had read it, but I hadn't listened to her review from her channel, from the blog that she did, because I didn't want to spoil it until I'd read it myself. She wasn't 100% on it. I think she might have given it 3.5 stars. I ended up giving it 5 stars, I think, and that's unusual for me because this was my last chance with Emily Henry. I have tried the one when we met on vacation was one of them. I can't remember the two, but I give them both 3 stars because they were just okay. I just didn't get a lot from them, and so I'd pre-ordered Book Lovers and thought, right, this is the last chance. I'm not ordering more of these books if I'm not getting into them. They're such gorgeous covers. They're definitely cover buys. But I loved it so much. I think it was because the main storyline running through it was about sisters and both being in different places in their lives and trying to stay close even though they're obviously moving in different directions. And because I've got a sister and we live in 2 different places, we're both moving on in our lives now. She's due to have a baby in August. I live with my husband and my little girl who's 6 here. We are still very close, but we don't get to see as much of each other anymore. But I'm hoping that when she breaks up for maternity leave in July, we will be able to spend some more time together, and I'll be able to spend time with her and the little babs as well, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, anything about sisters like that, and seeing these 2 sisters like trying to stay so close when they're at different points in their lives, just really resonated with me. And so I think that's why I ended up giving it 5 stars, because as much as like the romance was quite a big part of the story, I felt like it focused more on the sisters, and that's what I really wanted. So yeah, I really loved that. So yeah, I was speaking to Sam and saying, I wish we'd read this at the same time because I would have liked to talk about it. And then she said, like, we hadn't done a buddy read in a while, why don't we? And then I asked her if her Goodreads was up to date, and she said she'd recently done a list of her owned books but had stopped at 50 because it was just quite time consuming. So I had a quick look through, and the one book that we both seem to have is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This one says, for 2 sworn enemies, anything can happen during the Hawaiian trip of a lifetime. Oliver's always unlucky. Her identical twin sister, Amy, on the other hand, is probably the luckiest person in the world. While she's about to marry her dream man, Oliver's forced to play nice with her nemesis, the best man, Ethan. And basically, I think what happens is they have to go on this honeymoon. All of the wedding party come down with food poisoning apart from Oliver and Ethan. So they get to go on this all expenses paid trip to Hawaii. So I messaged Sam and said, what about the Unhoneymooners? And she said, yeah, I've been meaning to read that for a while, so we are going to read it in July. She's going to put it on her July TBR too, so definitely this one. And then also I remember saying a while ago to Charlotte from Cumbersy Charlotte, did she want to read My Grandmother Sends Her Regards by Frederick Bachman? Now I can't remember if we said we'd read it in July. I don't even know if we put a date to it, so I need to get in touch with Charlotte and see if she was planning reading it in July, and if that's the case, that's another one that I could be reading. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it might give some people ideas. Like I said, if you've got any recommendations that you think I'll like for indie books, then by all means put it in the comments below. If you think any of these are definitely not indie books, let me know as well. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the different scenery. It does feel much nicer to be out here doing it now, and don't think any of my neighbours have heard. I know this one's got a door open, so maybe she's listening along. But yeah, I will speak soon. Bye.